Yeah.
But masters racing can be really exciting because you never really know who's going to win.
Okay, yeah. So I think we're moving on. No more master skating. The last time we were here, we ended up talking about cricket. This time it was master skating. I don't know what's wrong. Every time you're here,
but you asked for my best memory.
I did, and it was a 10 quick questions fire. And now we have a master race that took just as long describing as it was to skate it, and it was a 10K. But that was great. That was great. So lastly, we talked about the similarity, the differences with inline and with long track, and I think this is the last one, and this is maybe not as specific, but it's a different thing because now we're talking about the mentality. And I think you've been in both the environments, like turning up at a competition. Like, what is the environment at an inline competition and a long track competition, and how would you describe those differences or so?
Well, I much prefer inline competitions.
Yeah,
they're friendlier. People feel more like family. Ice skating competitions are, by their nature, much more serious.
Yeah, more individual, I think.
Yeah, definitely. It's the nature of the sport. You know, you're basically all doing individual time trials, so people can be like,
and the time trials, they hurt. Like, you need to put yourself in the hurt box, and people know this, so you kind of need to prep yourself a little bit. Inline racing hurts as well, but it's a little bit in a different way, I feel like, because when you're in the race, you kind of it's caught up.
It's a funny thing because every ice skating race is a maximal effort. You know, if you get to the end of a race and you have anything left, then you've done it wrong.
Yeah.
Whereas an inline race, all you have to be is a little bit better than the other guy.
Yeah.
But weirdly, that often pushes you even harder.
Sometimes you don't even have to be a little bit better. You just need to play your cards right. I mean, being better helps for sure. But it's every time you show up on the start line, you need to put out your best game and do the best moves at the right time and all this, and it doesn't happen every time. On ice, you kind of need to put the best performance you can every time with the shape you have.
Yeah, it's very different, and psychologically it's very different too. In longer inline races, you can start a race not being in a very good frame of mind, but still kind of get it together,
get into it,
get a rhythm and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas in ice, you kind of have to just be there.
In the long races, let's say.
In the long races.
Yeah.
Sprints are just ridiculous because you get punished for all the little mistakes you make.
Sprints are ridiculous in general. Let's say it like that.
It's true.
Yeah. It's coming from a long distance skater. That's just why. But like what do you think then about the training and the training mentality? Do you see any difference then and carry on into training, or is this more the same?
That's a good question. I feel like some of the training groups I've been in for ice have benefited enormously from having people with an inline background come into them.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of ice skaters, like they're very serious. They take themselves extremely seriously. Yeah. And like the amount of mental stress and energy that these guys put themselves through just because they think that that's what they have to do is, I think, to the detriment of their performance.
Yeah.
Whereas inline skaters are much better at being relaxed and...
Yeah, but I think it's also possible to go too much in the relaxed direction, because let's say you just said that the ice skating groups at times were a bit too tense when they didn't need to, or just when they finished the session that there's still that tension maybe. But on inline, you can have inline groups where there's not a lot of focus, I feel like sometimes. Like people don't think about how they skate, if they skate well or not, like... Do you think that's true as well? So
that's also true. I mean, I've been in training groups in inline where I felt that everyone was there just for the social aspect of it, and that bothered me.
Yeah.
It's about finding a good balance.
Yeah. Yeah.
Finding the right people.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
Yeah, on ice skating, I think it's more... You see bigger differences, I feel like, between the training groups. Like, you can have trainers and a small training group. Like, ice skating training groups are normally, like, not that big. It's like you have maybe even 5 to, like, 15 people maybe maximum. That's kind of like training groups. Maybe it varies with bigger national teams or something. I wouldn't know. But, that's pretty much...
Good observation.
That's pretty much how it... And when you have an inline group, sometimes they're huge. They're big. And you can just join, and like you don't have time from the coach. Like, he might not see you. You're just in a group, and you You can maybe even drop the interval if they go too hard. Like on ice, it's like the coach will come individually to one of the skaters, like, hey, remember your hip on the straight, and hey, you need to put your shoulders down in the corner, and like that's also a difference I feel like between the groups. And maybe that adds a little bit to the pressure from the single skater, that you feel like, hey, I need to be focused in the training as well, but maybe also too much that they can't switch off, or so it's harder to switch off.
I mean, something I always felt in ice skating was that I was always being observed.
Yeah.
You know, like you said, you know, with the coach's attention, it's very intense.
Yeah.
But also in general, like every time you race, you know, everyone looks up each other's times, and these times are important.
Yeah.
When you're inline skating, like the time that you clock in a 500 meter at a race, like no one really cares.
Yeah.
Because if it's slow, it's like, oh, that's just how the race was. Or whereas on ice, it's like, 39. Is that all you can do? You
can literally get excluded from groups, like, hey, you can't be here. This is not a World Cup qualified skater or not. Like inline skating, I feel a lot of the times it's just like, hey, he's quick, he's strong. Hey, I saw this guy, he did this in that race, that was quite impressive. Ice, you have these times, and people identify a lot with the times as well, I think.
Yeah, people are very judgy. You get judged by your times.
Yeah.
This is an interesting point I want to make, actually. With this has to do with the psychology.
Bring it.
Is that, you know, in ice you feel judged all the time. You get very self-conscious. Yeah. But one of the inliners I know who I've been extremely impressed with in his transition to ice, it's Peter Michael.
Yeah.
Very, very, very few people have gone from inline to ice and been that quick that quickly. Yeah. And I really feel the reason for that is because his attitude.
Serious at the front, party at the back.
That's
his hairstyle. that's how he described it in the Dutch.
Not even that serious at the front.
Interview.
Like he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've ever skated behind him, you'll know this. Like he'll just step into a corner.
Yeah.
Is it slippery? Who cares?
He takes the entry tight, and then when he starts stepping in the corner, he keeps stepping, and it's like, I don't know how I can follow that. Yeah. I lose him in the entry a lot of the times when I train with him in Geisingen. And he's strong, and he's got speed. But another thing as well, and I think a lot of people, they see Peter Michael, they kind of know who it's this crazy guy from New Zealand, and he's talking with all the skaters, like the Indian kids as well. He don't mind, like he doesn't have to hang out with all the cool kids all the time. But also, like I've trained with him on training camps, and then all of a sudden you see Peter Michael like making a countdown, like, hey, we need to start in 4 seconds, and it's like 4, 3, 2, and he starts. If people are not ready, he just goes, because he needs to do the training right. And then after that, it's like, it's back to Peter Michael. Like, it's back to party at the back. If it's his hair, it's the, what do you call that? A mohawk?
A mullet.
A mullet, sorry, yeah. Yeah, like, you're Aussie, so I guess the mullet is kind of invented there, more or less. I don't know, it's a redneck thing.
I don't even know.
Never mind. The hairstyle is just a party at the back. So once the training is done, it's straight into mental recovery mode, more or less. But like, and relaxed.
I love this attitude that he just doesn't care. He doesn't care what people think of him or what he looks like. Because when you're learning a new skill, like ice skating, if you're afraid you're going to make mistakes, if you're afraid you're going to look stupid,
you're probably going to make mistakes.
But you're just not going to learn very quickly.
Yeah.
But if you're like him and you just step into that corner, you're not afraid of falling, you're not afraid of like leaning too much. That's why kids learn so quick.
Yeah, because they're not afraid.
They don't care. They're just like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm just going to go. Oh, I fell. Whatever. I'm going to go again.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of attitude you have to have. That sort of very relaxed.
Yeah.
And it takes quite a bit of confidence at this age, belief in yourself.
Yeah.
And
to go back into that state where, as you mentioned earlier, you feel like a total rookie and you're gonna make these mistakes and you're gonna be like, hey, okay, tell me what I'm doing wrong, and I'm not this great skater that I might think, and then at the same time, if you start doing well really quickly, then not get caught up with the times going on ice and all this. Is that a fair summary of like some of the things you could recommend to skaters going on ice and like the mentality approach to it?
Yeah, just do it.
Just do it.
Just do it.
This podcast was brought to you by Nike.
I'd like to thank my sponsors.
Yeah. Okay.
No, just just do it. Don't worry too much about what you think it should be, or that. Just get your skates on.
Yeah.
Just go for a skate.
Yeah. Because I've seen a lot of inline skaters be like, hey, I want to go Olympics. I'll go on ice. I need to do these times. And then when they go there, they realize that's not the focus you need to, if you want to go to Olympics. You just need to learn that one skill every day, or perfect, or not perfect because it's not perfecting. Just change some of those things every day, bit by bit, and then
Yeah, no, and whenever I hear inline skaters say, "Oh, I'll wait till I'm
that level
before switching," I'm like, nah.
Why? Yeah.
No, just do it.
Yeah.
The earlier the better.
Yeah.
Why wait?
Yeah, that was the thing for me as well. I've been skating longer on ice than Bart or than Peter Michael, but still, those were the two people that I was in the Mastart final with, and that's not because I'm just as good as inline skater. It's just that's what I had to do, and I did ice and inline for a lot of years, and luckily it worked out. So, but hopefully there's going to be a lot more inline skaters going on ice, in the future. Yeah. It's going to be a lot more. You do both, and that's a natural thing. Also for the ice skaters, I think this is a new wave coming, that there's going to be people doing long track, short track, inline when they're kids, just growing up, and they can do everything.
Yeah, and from this crop of new skaters who do all three, we're going to get incredible good skaters. Yeah.
Luckily, they're not here yet to kick all the current skaters' asses. So, but they're coming.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, sweet. I think that's about everything we had time for today. So, but thank you very much, Daniel. It was very nice talking with you again and getting your insights and your stories from all over the world. So thank you very much.
No worries. No, thanks for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you.